What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again, and today we're going to talk about a little bit of a hack that I came up with. Now, you've definitely all seen the frozen ball espressos and pour overs all over the internet that every YouTuber jumped on board and checked them out, and I've got to say it does work, but we're not really here to discuss whether they work or not. What I'm here to talk about is whether or not you can do it without the ball. So if you're not sure how the little frozen ball thing works, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on exactly what it does to make your coffee better. Now, for the sake of this video, we're just going to stick to espresso. It's going to be a lot simpler to explain things, and well, it's going to be achievable in this video. So when you extract your espresso, that contains what we call volatile aromatic compounds. I call them VACs for short because I don't want to sound like a nerd all the time. Now, the idea of the frozen ball is to retain those VACs. Now, my results, it actually gave me a slightly better or more palatable coffee. So anyone that was looking to get into espresso coffee and remove all that milk from their drink, it was a lot easier to give them that coffee with no sharpness on the front, thanks to the Paragon or ice ball. So I've been tagged in a lot of videos or sent videos of people adding things to their espresso. And I don't mean afterwards, I mean in the park, putting in some orange slice or some sugar or honey or all of these other weird things that are out there. And if you enjoy it, fantastic. That's not for me. What I do enjoy is pure extracted espresso. So then I thought to myself, what can I do to make coffee better for people? Because the Paragon or the ice ball or whatever you want to call it does make coffee more palatable most of the time. Can we achieve this without the ball? I think we can. So I took my Portafilter, chucked it in the freezer, waited until it was super cold, pulled it out and pulled an identical shot to what I would typically do. And I found that the coffee was better. Now, this is a coffee I've drank many times, and it did have that little bit less sharpness at the front, a lot smoother and a lot easier for majority of people to drink. So rather than you taking my word for it, I'm going to measure some things. I'm going to see if there is a higher or lower TDS on this coffee, and then you guys can try this yourself because I know you've got a coffee machine. And what I'm going to do, using the same portafilter, same recipe, same water, absolutely everything, starting with the frozen coffee, I'm going to pull a shot, taste it, measure the TDS, see where we're at, and then repeat the process with the hot portafilter. So I have my very frozen portafilter here. I'm going to do this as quick as possible to keep it at the coldest possible temperature. I'm going to go and pull a shot and I'll go from there. So we've got an extraction. I've tasted it. I've tested it. I'm not going to show you what it is, but the TDS was there and it's kind of what I expected. So now I'm waiting for the portafilter to heat up in the machine, make sure it's at a usable temperature, and we'll go from there. Until the sun comes up. So I've done this test back to back quite a few times just to ensure that I wasn't doing anything wrong, and the numbers are telling me exactly what I expected them to tell me. But before I tell you the results, I'm going to explain something. If you've watched my videos, you would know that I typically use a bottomless portafilter. Now, I couldn't do that today because my theory was that we can turn the bottom of this portafilter into the ice ball itself. As you would have noticed previously, this was frozen. It was very cold, and I pulled that shot while this was still cold. Even after I pulled the shot, it still definitely had a lower temperature than it does right now, because right now it's hot. So what I achieved was the frozen ball built in to the bottom of the portafilter. Now, as this heated up, it essentially gave me what you would do anyway, where you would pull the frozen ball out after the first 20 or 30%. It started to heat this up. It did what I needed it to do. Now, before I tell you the results, I want to hear from you in the comments below what you think is going to happen. Are we going to have a higher TDS with the frozen portafilter or a lower TDS? Now, I know the numbers aren't exact because there's still something there with a lower temperature. Pulling that ball out completely obviously removes that element. But this heated up at a much faster rate than a proper Paragon ball because that has the gel inside. I don't know the science behind it, but I know it works. Then once this was up to maximum temperature, I pulled the shot again and again, And I gotta tell you, it definitely did the trick. Because the first row of shots with the frozen portafilter, we were pulling a shot with a TDS of an average of 11.2%. Then I repeated the process without the frozen portafilter. Yes, this took me a while in and out of the freezer, but with a hot portafilter, I was pulling a TDS of an average 10.5%. So I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when I tasted it, there was definitely a much easier, more palatable drink with the frozen portafilter. Now, I'm not saying it was a better coffee, but if you've got someone you're trying to get into espresso, try it with a frozen portafilter if you don't have the frozen ball and see what it does, because in my opinion, it definitely made it a more palatable coffee. So I want you to pop your portafilter in the freezer for a couple of hours, go and pull a shot, and then see what the results are for yourself. Now, before you go, please hit that like and subscribe button. That helps me greatly to continue to do these videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a great day and happy brewing.